From bloody skates on ice to the warm sands of paradise, it's Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. I'm your host Zach, and today on Pajama Theater we're going to be reviewing MVD Rewind's recent release of the film, a sister release to the first Jack Frost, also put out by MVD at the same time. I do want to note now that as of this recording, this copy of the movie did not come with the unedited version. Therefore, a lot of the gore, nudity, and foul language were heavily edited out of the version I've watched. Thankfully, MVD has addressed the issue and is working to create and distribute replacement discs with the unedited version included, sometime in the future. For now, let's talk about the film as I've watched it here. The movie opens with Sheriff Sam Taylor returning, now deemed crazy by the masses, alongside the rest of the snowman attack survivors. Meanwhile, a mysterious group seeks out the unmarked grave of Jack Frost, where Sam and crew buried his antifreeze remains. They begin researching the evil snowman solution, and by accident one night, the custodian knocks a cup of coffee into the vat, awakening the mutant killer snowman from his slumber. We move now to the Tropicana resort, where Sam, alongside his wife and friends, escapes on a getaway vacation, choosing to spend the holidays across the sea where it's much too warm for snow. Despite their choice of locale, the now seemingly magical spirit of Jack Frost doesn't take long to inexplicably make it to the island resort, where he begins his killing spree anew. As people drop, Sam becomes more alarmed, a paranoid mess constantly worrying about Jack. To his credit, Jack's back and the resulting slasher film is, well, interesting to say the least. We can move away from the story aspect here, as it's complete bonkers, a mashup of ideas and whimsies that some will find hilarious and entertaining, while others will most certainly not. Regardless, the first thing I'll address here are the death scenes. Once again, the version I watched had much of the heavier gore and violence cut out, so take this with a grain of salt. Death scenes, however, are beyond cheesy looking, in a slightly weird and awful way. For the first half of the film, I felt like I was watching some strange spoof of the original. Little was shown of how these people were dying, but even then each kill seemed hilariously off, as the poor acting and lack of clever cinematography create an extremely noticeable quality difference between this and the previous installment. For the first half of the film, Jack is basically just a disembodied voice dubbed over anything in the film that has to do with water. It just feels cheap and lazy. In fact, this movie looks like they slashed the budget to practically nothing. With all the in-your-face product placements, I'm inclined to believe these deals were the only source of funding. I'm not usually one to harsh the mellow on a low-budget production, but something about this is all just disappointing considering how great the first film looked. Visual production aside, the writing is of no help here either. The comedy can be funny at times, but there's a joke a minute and it gets old after a while. I found myself rolling my eyes when more than 50% of the dialogue in any given scene is just a string of groaners. Like the classic comedy Airplane, without the actually well-written humor. Overall, I think I would have enjoyed this film much more had it not had a reputation to live up to with the original. To this film's credit, it does eventually pick up, and there is some cheesy fun to be had. The third act picks up the pace finally, having some great blood and splatter, as well as a Gremlins plotline knockoff. But unfortunately the movie as a whole just misses too many marks. I could see it being an excellent so bad it's good film. Put it on with your friends and make a drinking game out of it or something. Otherwise, I can't see myself going back to this one anytime soon. Going in with low expectations, some of you may enjoy it more than others, but I can't recommend it to the wider horror audience. Unless you're already a fan of the film, find it on streaming and check it out for yourself. For now, we've got a physical copy from MVD to unbox. Here we are with our MVD Rewind Collection copy of Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. It comes in a standard slipcover with artwork to match MVD's release of the first film. Unfortunately in the movie, I don't believe Jack ever came surfing in on a snow wave with a bloody knife. That would have been awesome. Regardless, all of our release information is printed on the back, and underneath we have a matching standard Blu-ray case. Inside, a single Blu-ray disc is housed on the right, and on the left we get a mini fold-out poster, featuring the newly commissioned artwork. I'll frame this one alongside the one from the first film. That aside, our Blu-ray case here also features a reversible sleeve option, with an original poster work on the reverse side. Otherwise, we've now completed our look at the physical aspect of this release, so let's surf on over to the content on the disc. MVD presents Jack Frost 2 in HD with 2.0 audio, accompanied by a handful of supplements old and new. We start off with 2 commentary tracks to listen to alongside the feature presentation. Our first commentary track is an archival one with director Michael Clooney. he opens up the track by explaining that it's okay to not take this film seriously, and instead to laugh at it. A nice gesture as he goes on to share all sorts of stories, tidbits, and more on the production of Jack Frost 2. Our second commentary track sees the return of the folks from horror podcast Hack the Movies. They recorded a track for the first film and appear once more for the second, as they now bring their podcast-style expertise again, creating a conversational yet relaxed viewing. Overall, some entertaining commentary tracks that understand the humorous appeal of this film, and have no issue digging in for some good fun. From here, we move into our video bonuses, as we open up with a behind-the-scenes featurette. Running 12 minutes long, this video holds a collection of clips from the production, mostly B-roll footage with a stupid skit for fun thrown in here or there, some neat looks at the practical effects, and a quick watch overall. If you want more footage from behind the scenes, MVD includes a music video spoof as well. It's a 2-minute compilation of clips from the film shoot, going through various cast members as they sing, dance, and rap a parody song about Jack Frost. More stupid fun to throw in for a quick laugh. Next up is an archival interview with the director of the film, Michael Clooney, from the final day of principal production. This one is just under 5 minutes, as he shares a couple stories and gives us some insight on the shoot. A quick but otherwise passable video. We move on to our other interview, which is actually part 2 of a supplement from MVD's release of the previous film. If you remember, Scott McDonald joined Dominic Mancini of Full Empire Promotions for a live interview in late 2020. Here in our release for Jack Frost 2, we get the second half of the show, running just over 30 minutes long, with more goodness from McDonald himself. If you purchase both releases from MVD Rewind Collection, then you'll have the episode in total. With that, however, we can round out this release of Jack Frost 2 with a collection of trailers, including one from each Jack Frost film, as well as more from films also distributed by MVD. This release overall isn't exactly enticing, but if you're one who really enjoyed the movie, then it definitely does enough to treat its fanbase. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of Jack Frost 2, otherwise, let me know what other Blu-ray releases you'd like to see a review of. Until then, thank you so much for joining me here on Pajama Theater. Like this video and subscribe to support the channel, and as always, take care and I'll see you guys next time.